Rồi we are live now.
Valverde. Fran Garcia. Cruz. Valverde. Goes for goal! His reputation is better than what we've just seen. It's Greenish. Greenish is a double pass. Crossed it into the middle. Fran Garcia attempts a clearance. Nicely controlled. Looking for a decent ball in. Rodri plays it long. That's a goal kick. Yes, the referee concurs. Valverde. Kovacic gets it back. De Bruyne. Stones. Ruben Diaz.
Alright, we are live. Man City vs Real Madrid quarter final. Let's go.
De Bruyne tries to dink it in. Get that clear.
Yo, Bashi, how are you?
Vinicius Junior looks to dink one in. Knocks it away. An accusatory stare there tells the whole story.
Real Madrid just had to make the ball stick, but came up short.
Wait, I tried to put the
De
foot,
Bruyne.
but I can't put the foot.
Hoists it forward. Now chance to break. Driving on now. What can they conjure from here? Valverde. Decent looking ball. And he's there to hoof it away. Kings run through here. Greenish. And it's Kovacic.
No.
Foden drives it forward.
Okay, start up cool.
Potential goal of the season contender, if only.
But after so much hard work, look, he just shouldn't be missing from there.
And it's played forward. Forward it goes.
Alright, let's go.
Toni Kroos.
We'll see who's going to win.
Valverde.
Real Madrid vs Man City in the quarter final.
Toni Kroos. Vinicius Junior.
Let's go.
Vinicius Junior gets it.
Do you want to migrate to Canada? Nationwide Immigration Services is conducting India's biggest
There you go. Just started the live. Real Madrid is counter attack right now. Come on, Real Madrid, you need to win this game. Come on, man. You think who going to win this game? Man City get a free kick. Real Madrid is wearing white color and Man City with blue. Wait, 1-0? Wait, this is this. Wait. Bernardo Silva score 1-0. God. Let me get the text. 1-0. Oh my god, 1-0 means City score. Man City scored in the 12th second, no? Oh my god.
La pelota que se la perdía el Real Madrid.
1-0.
Será tiro de esquina para el conjunto merengue. Se acerca el Madrid, se acerca el Madrid buscando el empate y también se acerca el conjunto del Manchester City. Mi estimado Nico.
Come on, Real Madrid, come
Igual
on,
de que es saque
man.
de arco, me parece que rebota último Vinicius y por eso
Vinicius.
saque de arco para el Manchester City. A ver, sí, saque de arco para el City, pero el Madrid ya encontró un espacio en 3/4 para poder atacar. Valverde ya dejó una suerte de espacio ahí entre la defensa y el medio campo del City, que está
1-0
ocupando por
for
ahí
Man
una zona
City.
medular muy
Bernardo
lejos de
Silva
sus zagueros,
with a
un poco largo el
2
equipo
second goal.
británico,
Oh my
pero
god.
eso es parte del plan de Guardiola de poder ensanchar lo más posible a su equipo.
Así es, estimado Nico, ojo que viene atacando el City, la pelota de Jack Grealish, que la toca para Haaland, Haaland que tiene el gol, ahí está, tapó Lunin. Tapó Lunin la pelota, era el segundo del Manchester City, era el gol de Erling Braut Haaland, se lo pierde, señoras y señores, el City por poco llega al primero, Haaland que remataba al arco, la pelota que la atajaba Lunin, ataca el City con todo, lo busca el conjunto de Pep Guardiola, y sí, a toda la gente que está conectada con nosotros, más de 2.000 personas, les pedimos que vayan dejando su like, coméntenos de dónde nos ven, a quién apoyan, al Real Madrid o al Manchester City, 2.600 personas, a la Madrid, ustedes siempre pueden, dice Antonia, dice Lupita Pelico, que dice a la Madrid, Hernán Maestro, todos los que están conectados, gracias, miles de gracias por supuesto. Viene atacando el conjunto del Real Madrid, primero la pelota que le quedaba al Manchester City, por intermedio del jugador Akanji. Akanji que tiene la pelota, la viene tocando rápidamente con Rubén Díaz. Díaz para Barriol, Barriol que tiene el esférico, viene tocando, viene saliendo el conjunto del City por intermedio de Bernardo Silva. Aplaude Josep Pep Guardiola. Será saque lateral, por supuesto. Qué bonito marco se ve en el Santiago Bernabéu. Rudiger que tiene la pelota. La viene tocando rápidamente para Tchouaméni, que hoy está jugando como central. Dato curioso, Tchouaméni hoy está jugando de central con Rudiger. Rudiger hacia atrás con André Lunin. Lunin que tiene la pelota, viene saliendo con Camavinga. Camavinga que tiene la pelota, la devuelve para André Lunin. Lunin con Rudiger. Rudiger que tiene la pelota. Rudiger que la viene tocando para Dani Carvajal. Carvajal que tiene la pelota. Atención que hace Carvajal, la devuelve para Rudiger. Rudiger para Lunin. Lunin que tiene la pelota, la manda hacia el sector derecho con Ferland Mendy. Mendy que la tiene, Mendy que la toca rápidamente para Rudiger, Rudiger para Lunin. Mi estimado Nico, le damos a la gente y cuéntanos en estos primeros minutos cómo estás viendo al Real Madrid y al Manchester.
Estamos viendo un partido donde ahora la pelota va de acá para acá, no hay ningún descanso. El Madrid quiere jugar al sitio ocupándolo, tratando de tener la pelota y buscar su juego habitual de toque, un equipo pero está compartiéndolo en la algo aparte de lo que traduce en el busca, pero ambos equipos buscan con igual intensidad, pero se ve una búsqueda diferente. Mucho más ordenado y pausado para echar la pelota, Madrid mucho más vehemente que quiere saquear líneas, pero me parece que hay un poco de desesperación en el equipo merengue, lógico porque empezar perdiendo tan rápido. Luego para Germano, para Atac, para DJ, para José León, para Olga, para Atac, para todos los que están del otro lado, les pedimos que nos comenten de dónde nos siguen, de qué parte del planeta están conectados, están en España, están en Inglaterra, aquí en Sudamérica, están en México, están en el resto de Latinoamérica, Estados Unidos. Bueno, coméntenos y nos vamos a estar leyendo y obviamente dejen su like. Queremos tratar ya los 300 antes de terminar el tiempo. Yo creo que estamos en una buena cantidad para poder llegar el día de hoy a estos números, así que deja tu like.
Guys, now Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. We need Real Madrid to win this game.
Nos dice que está viéndonos de República Dominicana. Bueno, como hace William, hacemos también.
Vengan to see us score in 2 seconds.
Este partido que en 10 minutos sigue ganando el City 1-0,
You will get a tip of the way, I think.
pero muy parejo. No hay un dominador completamente metido dentro del partido, no está completamente marcado el dominador. Pero insisto, este gol del City ha sido una marca bastante fuerte ya en el comienzo del partido.
Así es, sí señor, por supuesto, el partido que por ahora se está manteniendo en este mismo marcador, 1-0 el trámite del compromiso, la pelota que la viene teniendo el City ya dominándola con Jack Grealish, que la tocaba rápidamente para Bernardo Silva, viene saliendo desde el sector del medio campo, el conjunto del Manchester City, Bernardo Silva para Grealish que tiene la pelota, ahora con Akanji, Rubén Díaz, Camavinga en la presión que ejerce el conjunto merengue, Bernardo Silva que va a jugar allí por esa banda y se viene con todo Bernardo Silva, encara Mendy, la viene tocándose atrás con Akanji que tocaba la pelota, recupera el Madrid, viene Vinicius Junior atacando el conjunto merengue con Vinicius, con Rodrigo para Vinicius, qué buena pared que armó Vinicius, primero era marcado allí en la banda, la pelota que llega hacia los pies del portero del Manchester City, ya viene saliendo el Manchester City, Rubén Díaz para Akanji, por supuesto. 10 minutos de partido ya cumplido, lo está ganando el conjunto de Manchester City, señoras y señores, en el compromiso lo gana el City de 1-0, ahí viene saliendo con la pelota, recupera el Real Madrid, se viene con todo el conjunto merengue, con Dani Carvajal con Camavinga para Federico Valverde que la tiene, Valverde para Camavinga para Valverde, así que la toca hacia atrás con Aurelien Tchouaméni con André Lunin, el portero del Real Madrid que la tiene, Lunin que ya viene tocando con Tchouaméni para Camavinga, ahí viene Eduardo Camavinga, la toca ahora para Rudiger que la tiene, la maneja sobre el sector defensivo el Real Madrid, la viene tocando Rudiger rápidamente para Federico Valverde con Toni Kroos que venía tocando la pelota rápidamente para que venga para Dani Carvajal, mete el cabezazo, ahora la tiene Eduardo Camavinga que tiene la pelota, asesora con Dani Carvajal ahora para Fede Valverde que hace un cambio de banda excelente para Rodrigo, se viene con todo el Madrid, se viene con todo el equipo de Carleto Ancelotti, Rodrigo Gómez para Federico Valverde hacia atrás con Toni Kroos para Ferland Mendy para Jude Bellingham con Toni Kroos, ataca el Madrid, Toni Kroos para Eduardo Camavinga que tiene la pelota, ¿Qué hace Camavinga? La toca para Toni Kroos. Domina el Real Madrid. Toni Kroos ahora manda la pelota para Dani Carvajal. Carvajal atacando por el sector derecho del Real Madrid. Carvajal ahora para Eduardo Camavinga. Camavinga que tiene la pelota. Va a sacar el disparo. Va Camavinga. Mete el remate.
One, let's go.
Camavinga, qué golazo te mandaste.
¿Qué?
¡Gol!
¿Ese
Golazo de Camavinga. ¡Gol!
Yes! Let's go! Real Madrid 1-1.
Del Real Madrid, del rey de Europa.
Camavinga score.
Señoras y señores, había un desvío en el camino.
Golazo.
Se posicionaba Camavinga. Señoras y señores, pelota que se va dentro de la portería de Andriy Lunin. Golazo de Eduardo Camavinga, señoras y señores. Golazo del Real Madrid para empatarlo.
Muy buen gol del Madrid, buen gol de Camavinga. Veo igual un leve desvío en Rubén Díaz, un poco también de incidencia del portugués, pero bien Camavinga utilizando un recurso el cual no es muy común de patear con la pierna menos hábil desde el lado más incómodo, que era patear prácticamente encerrándose de derecha a izquierda. Un gol parecido en cuanto a la esencia de que hizo al vínculo de la final contra Fluminense. Realmente tuvo un poco de similitudes, y el Madrid que va, el Madrid que empieza a encontrarle la vuelta al partido, y está mejor parado el conjunto del Real Madrid, tiene mejores ideas y está mejor metido en el partido, y ojo que se puede venir el segundo porque el Madrid está muy bien y el City está un poco desesperado y mal parado.
Así es, por supuesto, mi estimado Nico. Ya vamos a ir leyendo a la gente más adelante cuando Nico y el partido, por supuesto, nos den la palabra. Stone que la tiene, la viene tocando rápidamente para lo que es el intermedio de Rodri. Rodri que viene atacando rápidamente con la pelota para Jack Grealish. El número 10 que se mete por la banda de Dani Carvajal. ¿Qué hace Grealish? Mete un centro al área. La pelota que la tapa Andriy Lunin, primero, que era el que se quedaba con la pelota. Saltan los hinchas del Real Madrid contentos por este partido que se está dando. Ahí la tiene Rodrigo. Viene enviando la pelota ahora para Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior que va hacia la penetración, va Vini, lo tiene Vini, ahí está, señoras y señores, el segundo gol del Real Madrid. ¡Gol!
Let's go, man. 2-1. Come on, Madrid. Come on. Rodri, go. 2-1. Let me edit it. Oh my god. Let's go.
De Rodrigo Gómez, golazo del Real Madrid, lo remonta el Madrid, sí, a la épica. Aquí está el Madrid de las remontadas, aquí está el equipo, señoras y señores, el rey de Europa. Sí, en el Santiago Bernabéu haciendo de las suyas, remontándole una vez más al Manchester City. En esta ocasión el gol fue de Rodrigo Gómez, el número 11, señoras y señores, que marca la remontada a la épica Rodrigo Gómez tras una excelente.
And I've almost invited this, you've got to say, there was another deflection, I think it came off a Kanji as it rolled between the Switzerland international's legs. Yeah, just clipped his heel, making it almost impossible for Stefan Ortega. It's a tough one for Stefan Ortega to swallow, but Manchester City have just been flipped on their backs in a matter of 90 seconds. Here's Kovacic bursting forward. Foden, open game here. Haaland in the penalty area. For Silva, who's just emerged. Turning away from Kroos to the edge of the penalty area. Kroos has to be careful. Bernardo Silva dancing. Pulled to the edge of the penalty spot. Foden goes to ground under the challenge of Rudiger. No appeal from Phil Foden, which Antonio Rudiger appreciates, as Andriy Lunin collects the ball as his near post. And I'll try and take a breath here. Just to remind you, we're only 15 minutes in. Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1. And flicked off the back of the head of Ruben Diaz. Stones will get there before Vinicius Junior and Stefan Ortega to the left-hand side for Josko Gvardiol. Carvajal physical in the back of Jack Grealish.
Yes,
Francois Letexier is unmoved as Valverde drifts across the midfield inside the City half and will lay this off to Ferland Mendy. Back to the edge of the centre circle for Aurelien to Tchouameni. Gets it back off Toni Kroos. Real Madrid now playing with a little bit of a swagger. They looked nervous in the opening minutes. That's how City pounced with less than 2 minutes on the clock. But all of a sudden, they've got that Madrid menace back to their players. Toni Kroos will drift back towards the edge of his penalty area, followed by Haaland. He keeps his composure, lays it off to Rudiger. They will find Andre Lunin just to the left of the penalty spot. Flat ball to the right-hand side. Carvajal kills it dead with the outside of his right boot. Now tries to curl one through the middle. Jude Bellingham making a good run. Trying to go in behind Ruben Diaz, who wins the header down to Gvardiol. Back now to Stefan Ortega. Diaz to the edge of the D on the edge of the penalty area. Back to the goalkeeper from John Stones. And Ortega forced long again, but can't find Grealish or Haaland. Will only find Dani Carvajal, who just flicks that nonchalantly back to Andre Lunin. Tchouameni into the retreating Toni Kroos. He's being followed all the way into his own penalty area by Phil Foden. The ball is out to the left-hand side. Evades the press of Bernardo Silva. Dropped onto the chest of Ferland Mendy, who now goes adventuring over the halfway line, but can't find the pass for Vinicius Junior, which is collected by Stones and fed to Ortega, who returns that to John Stones. Rodri to his right now. Manuel Akanji will try and accelerate down the touchline, and he'll slip it forward to Bernardo Silva. Ferland Mendy battling his way to try and win the ball. City retain possession though. Rodri across to Ruben Diaz, stepping through the middle, just to the left of the centre circle. The roof on the Bernabeu this evening. It was in the round of 16 tie against Leipzig too. The atmosphere over in Madrid, electric once more. It's forward from Kovacic. Haaland lays it off back to Kovacic. To his left again for Gvardiol. Now left-hand side for Jack Grealish, trying to step in away from Carvajal. Grealish with a little shove away to the defender, the Real Madrid captain, who shoves out in response as he lays the ball off to Ruben Diaz. Forward now to Rodri, 40 yards from goal, out to the right-hand side for Manuel Akanji. Forward down the touchline, John Stones will try and touch it past Rudiger, will do. Pulls it back from the byline, straight into the gloves of Andre Lunin in his near post. It was good movement though from John Stones. And Rudiger had to be really careful not to give him something to go over there.
Haaland will score one.
In the blink of an eye, Manchester City went from leading to trailing in this quarter-final. Carlo Ancelotti fired up, and Real Madrid firing forward. Here's Valverde, edge of the penalty area, left footed strike. That one's much easier for Stefan Ortega, who will appreciate the feeling of having that football in his gloves. Valverde, 12 goals last season, none this season, just the one in the league. They're part of all 42 of Real Madrid's games in all competitions throughout this term has Fede Valverde. It's on the right flank here with Akanji on the halfway line though for Man City. Infield to Rodri, finds Kovacic. Stepping back towards the halfway line, finds Rodri 5 yards to his right. Laid off to the right hand side for Akanji. City look a little bit stunned here. We'll just keep the ball as they try and regain their composure. With Ruben Diaz literally walking his way through Real Madrid's half in the centre circle. Back out to the right-hand side for Manuel Akanji. Akanji to Ruben Diaz, across to Gvardiol. Back to Diaz on the halfway line in the centre circle. Now rolled across to Akanji. Akanji falls backwards. Ruben Diaz will take a touch before it gets to the penalty area. Real Madrid
Let me see if I got
offering Manchester United no quarter whatsoever. Manchester City, excuse me. No quarter whatsoever. It's slipped forward from Ruben Diaz, tried to find Haaland, wrestled away from the ball by Antonio Rudiger, and Real Madrid have recovered possession. As City's just looked out of ideas for a moment there.
Vinicius Junior
Approach to the left back position, inside to Rudiger, back from Camavinga to Tchouameni. That was an overhit pass, and he's going to have to run towards the right back position to collect it, Tchouameni. There's infield to Andre Lunin down the right hand side. Powerful header down the touchline by Fede Valverde. He'll have to chase it. John Stones comes across for City and pushes it back to Stefan Ortega.
Can they play on the right there?
So Ruben Diaz, right hand side of the penalty area. Now laid off to Rodri, coming to collect it. Rodri to Kovacic. Kovacic approaching the halfway line. One news from the Emirates. Arsenal have scored against Bayern Munich. It's Bakayos. Excuse me, it's Bayern have levelled things up. It was Arsenal 1, Bayern 1. Serge Gnabry has just levelled things up at the Emirates Stadium. Left-hand side, though, at the Bernabeu, it's Jack Grealish. Body fake, tries to get a bit of space away from Carvajal. Prods it back to the edge of the penalty area. Gvardiol will try and chop away from Fede Valverde. Gvardiol finds Kovacic. Now Gvardiol, backwards towards John Stones. Bellingham goes to ground. Stones to his right. Here's Ruben Diaz up with the attack. Akanji is two. Down the right-hand side for Silva on the touchline. Silva in field to Phil Foden will prod this back to Akanji midway through the City half, the Madrid half, wide on the right-hand side. Rodri will lift one to the left-hand side for Zacharias to pick out of the sky. Forced backwards by Carvajal. Ball goes in field to
the rest of this player.
Gvardiol. Now Kovacic tries to find Stones, who will jump with Bellingham. Drops it to Camavinga and he'll step away down the right-hand side for Real Madrid and slip it forward to Rodrigo, who's got there before Ruben Diaz. Rodrigo on the right flank for Real Madrid. Back to the edge of the penalty area for Vinicius Junior. The attack smothered there by Rodri getting back, but he will concede the throw-in on the right-hand side. Real Madrid just burst into life every now and then, don't they? Just lull City into a false sense of security before suddenly the pace of Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior is really difficult to deal with. Manchester City just refuse to do anything other than play that line so high. It's in the centre circle where the City attack breaks down. Rodri was caught. Foden tries to challenge Kroos. Ball goes left-hand side. Vinicius Junior met here by Silva, who will win the ball back for City. Bernardo Silva just floating on the right-hand side. 22 minutes on the clock. City looking for a response. Leading by one, trailing by two. They like to go back into the dressing rooms at half-time on level terms. They've got 20 minutes left in the first half to try and conjure up something. After a bit of a breathless start, the game has settled into a slightly more gentle pace here as Akanji wanders into the Real Madrid half in possession. Laid off by Phil Foden with his back to the penalty area into Rodri. Now Stones to Gvardiol, wide to Grealish. Grealish in a crossing position, prods it with the outside of his right boot towards the edge of the penalty area. Won't reach Rodri, will find Kroos, who has Real Madrid back in possession. Rodrigo, deep inside his own half in the defensive third. Gvardiol wins the throw-in against Rodrigo. And Gvardiol will take it. So tossed in by Gvardiol. In from Kovacic to Ruben Diaz. Rodri now to his right for Phil Foden. On the right-hand side, Bernardo Silva. Right in the heart of the City half is Rodri. So is Ruben Diaz alongside him. Akanji back to Ruben Diaz, right-hand side of the centre circle. Diaz stepping forward. Ball to the right-hand side. Laid off by Foden. Finds Akanji. It's Ruben Diaz from the halfway line again. Bernardo Silva tracking back. He's floating in the central area now as it's forward from Rodri. Kovacic turns towards goal and can't bundle his way through players. So the feet now of Gvardiol infield to Ruben Diaz. City just playing around with it on the edge of the centre circle, trying to turn forward, but Gvardiol almost caught there by Bellingham. So it's back to Ruben Diaz and Silva in field to Rodri. Rodri forward to Kovacic. Can he turn? He can this time, the Croatian international, as Kovacic lifts one forward over the top of Tchouaméni. Nice space to find Haaland there as Lunin comes out and gathers the ball.
Come on,
Frustration here for Pep Guardiola and his side and his travelling supporters. His City have just kind of settled into a bit of a rhythm where they're not really sure how to get through this Real Madrid shape, which is pretty solid looking at most junctures. They are trying to commit as many bodies forward as possible, City, but the threat is on the counter, and it's on the counter here again. City this time are recovering as many reinforcements as possible as Kroos, 10 yards inside the City half, will just roll it to his left to find Mendy. Down the touchline for Rodrigo. Back to Toni Kroos, and then wide again to the left for Ferland Mendy. It's Real Madrid's turn to slow play down in possession inside the opponent's half of the pitch as Haaland will press Rudiger in the centre circle. 10 yards to his left is Kroos. On the half turn between the lines is Camavinga. This time it's a bit better from Real Madrid, and Vinicius Junior will try and hit a snapshot from 25 yards, which he's got hopelessly wrong. It's high and over the bar and into the crowd behind Stefan Ortega's goal. It's played short by Ortega. Inside the penalty area, Ruben Diaz will take possession of the ball for Man City and then give it back to Ortega. This time we'll spray one to the left-hand side, but that's over the head of Jack Grealish. Great first touch though for the manager, Pep Guardiola. He certainly enjoyed that. Here is another throw for Man City. Guardiola on the left-hand side. It'll be just tossed down the touchline. No better Jack Grealish. Here's Erling Haaland, who got a touch off his knee from Carvajal. It will be a Real Madrid throw, just forward from the halfway line down the right-hand side for the hosts this evening. Guardiola trying to organise his team, who have somewhat gone to sleep a little bit, not been the same energetic performance we saw against Crystal Palace at the weekend. They trailed by a 1-0 very early on there. A similar story, in fact. It was a ball from Adam Wharton's into the path of Jean-Philippe Mateta, with Man City pressing very, very high. Mateta, well, no Vinicius Junior in terms of pace. That's infield from Valverde. There's a foul in the build-up on Camavinga. Bellingham will lay it off from the centre circle to Ferdinand Mendy. Real Madrid looking ever more threatening as the game progresses. It's in from the touchline, from Rodrigo to Bellingham. Left-hand side now. Vinicius Junior. Back to Jude Bellingham. 5 yards off the left flank. He will curl it deep and back to Tchouaméni, who's just forward from the centre circle. Now Camavinga's back to his feet. We'll find Valverde. Steps in off the touchline away from Gvardiol. Valverde backwards to Tchouaméni, right-hand side of the centre circle. Rudiger left. 5 yards to his left, Toni Kroos. Now forward to Ferdinand Mendy, who's been closed down by Akanji and Foden. Ball goes to Kroos on the halfway line. It's very, very similar as Man City and Real Madrid start to cancel each other out here. Real Madrid falls back into their own half. Carvajal with the back heel from the Tchouaméni pass, trying to find Camavinga. Kovacic is in there to intercept. Foul is from the Real Madrid captain in the centre circle on the halfway line. Man City with the free kick. Carried forward here by Akanji, laid out to the right-hand side for Bernardo Silva. Rolled across from Rodri to Stones in the centre circle. Gvardiol under pressure from Valverde. It's forward to Rodri and back to Stones. Little exchange of words between Vinicius Junior and Rodri for a second there. It's with Akanji on the right-hand side, halfway through Real Madrid territory. Back to him. Wide on the touchline. Laid off to Ruben Diaz. Now stepping forward, John Stones. Stones to his right for Manuel Akanji. Very static, both sets of teams. They're just playing a game of chess here. It's forward from Ruben Diaz. Metaphorical one, of course. Phil Foden's gone over the top of the ball there. I think he's fouled Jude Bellingham. Referee will pull it back. And the England international colleagues just a little apology from Phil Foden. Imagine, well, the question is heading into the tournament, the Euros in the summer, can Gareth Southgate accommodate both Bellingham and Foden in central areas to really unlock England's attacking capabilities? He's been reticent to play with less than a double pivot, but will do so. Plenty of players that appeared in that game, but this is Junior and Rodrigo, of course, both featured at Wembley in the international break. Back from Tchouaméni. Stones went off injured. He's regained his fitness though. It happens in the international friendly breaks at the end of the season. Some of the, how you say, key players come up with injuries on the training camp, which tend not to be that bad after all. Here's Carvajal though, 35 yards from goal, to his left. Rodrigo in the penalty area. Rodrigo will try and go towards the far post. Straight down the throat of Stefan Ortega, who's immediately found Jack Grealish, who's immediately found territory to move into, but he will be now. His progress will be stymied a little bit by Camavinga, but will float inside and find Rodri. He's fixed one to the right-hand side for Bernardo Silva on the corner of the penalty area. Turns onto his left, he's looking for options to arrive. There's not many people in support yet, and he has to go all the way back towards the halfway line to find Manuel Akanji, or just a little bit for Rodri. Rodri tries to glide past Vinicius Junior, but ball will now go backwards to Manuel Akanji. Rolled across to Josko Gvardiol. Gvardiol square to his right for Ruben Dias. It's been that kind of evening for Man City where they just play it left to right and right to left and back again, and lost the ball as they try and penetrate a very resolute Real Madrid defensive line here. It's right-hand side from Ruben Dias to Bernardo Silva. Silva infield to Manuel Akanji. Hill finds Rodri. Chips one over the head of Bellingham. Drops to Gvardiol. Holds it back towards the heart of the centre circle for Ruben Dias and chased by Valverde and Bellingham. Got it back to Stefan Ortega, who's flicked it to the left-hand side. Gvardiol now back in field to Ruben Dias, who spears it past the press of Vinicius Junior. Phil Foden will bounce that off John Stones and start to ghost through the centre circle. Stones to Kovacic. Kovacic forward. Tight, intricate play here from Manchester City. Rodri to the left-hand side for Jack Grealish. Grealish running at Carvajal. Back to the edge of the penalty area. Rodri chops away from Camavinga. Left-footed pass into the penalty area. Kovacic. Grealish. Great stuff. Grealish. Shot blocks. Kovacic can't follow up on the edge of the penalty area. And Real Madrid have set up on the counter-attack, and it's Rodrigo. Latches onto the back heel for Vinicius Junior. Round the corner, outside the boot to Vinicius Junior, corner of the penalty area, running now at Ruben Dias. Vinicius Junior, back to the edge of the box. Rodrigo schemes to top of the crossbar. Did it again there, Real Madrid. Went from close to conceding to almost scoring in a matter of seconds. It was just a couple of passes. It's a wonderful move. Rodri's just cut across the ball, and it's floated away from the top corner in the end. It's a long downfield from Ortega. Haaland's isolated with Rudiger. Tries to battle the ball away from the German. Can't do so. Goes back to Lunin, followed by Foden. The Ukrainian puts his foot through it up towards the City half. Header won by Ruben Dias, unchallenged in fact, so they'll find Silva and usher it back to Akanji. Now on the halfway line, Rodri. Rodri to Akanji. Akanji just to the right of the centre circle. Tries to find Ruben Dias, who has to lunge in there to win it off Jude Bellingham. He did get the ball. He won it, he had to do so, otherwise he would have been free into the City half with no one to beat but Stefan Ortega. He's still on the ground here, Jude Bellingham. Did seem to catch a lot of the England international, did Ruben Dias. And, well, Rodri's been wrestled away from the ball by Camavinga, and Real Madrid now threatening to counter through the middle as Camavinga gets the ball away for Vinicius Junior. Across goes Ruben Dias. Little nudge in the back from the Brazilian. Sends Ruben Dias to ground, and he senses the Real Madrid crowd here this evening who aren't happy that that's been penalised. Ruben Dias penalised there, but not for the challenge on Jude Bellingham. Now he's got to the ball. He's blocked the little tap forward from Jude Bellingham. The ball stops on his left calf as he slides in. The momentum of Jude Bellingham carries him into the slide tackle of Ruben Dias on the halfway line. It looks to be a pretty good challenge to me from the Manchester City captain this evening. As news from the Emirates, Harry Kane is on the score sheet against his old enemy. It's Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 2. So both English clubs in Europe trailing by 2-1 to European giants. I understand Jude Bellingham's frustration with the referee there. He hasn't seen the angle and wasn't really up with play. It's a long ball forward from Haaland, who will try his best to battle with Rudiger, who prods it away, but it's only as far as Bernardo Silva on the edge of the penalty area. Skips inside onto his left, twisting and turning, trying to find space. Kovacic alongside him now will take it back to the halfway line, and Ruben Dias, the man in the spotlight at the moment, sits to the left from Rodri. Gvardiol out to the outside for Grealish, back in field to the halfway line for Josko Gvardiol. Now Ruben Dias to Akanji, back to Ruben Dias on the edge of the centre circle, goes down under the little shove from Jude Bellingham, who's getting more and more agitated now as the referee does blow the whistle for the foul on the Manchester City captain, and Ruben Dias has a little word with the referee. A slightly more aggressive word, it must be said. I think Jude Bellingham just Dishing out a bit of revenge there on Ruben Diaz for what he thought was a bit of a naughty challenge on the halfway line. Flipped it forward from Rodri. Good little run here from the centre-half John Stones, drifting out to the right-hand side in an advanced position, holding off Mendy well. Back to a Foden. Now Bernardo Silva will find Akanji into the centre circle again for Ruben Diaz. Forward, Rodri. Haaland dropping back to collect the ball. No, cruises it back to the halfway line for Bernardo Silva. Drifting in field now, looking threatening, looking in the move. Bernardo Silva can't turn away from the challenge of Jude Bellingham. Will put it forward to Vinicius Junior. Silva appeals to the referee, wants a free kick. Vinicius Junior tries to turn away from Akanji, who's just pulled at Vinicius Junior, and the whistle has been blown, and the yellow card will be shown to Manuel Akanji. I'm not too sure about this refereeing now from Francois Le Texier. That one didn't seem to me to be a foul. We'll have a little look at the replay. There was an arm outstretched onto the back of Vinicius Junior. Whether there was any pull, I'm not sure. I think Vinicius Junior just was trying to pirouette away from Manuel Akanji.
Yellow card to Akanji.
A yellow card nonetheless. On ball out to the right-hand side. Carvajal an impeccable touch. Tries to tap it past Guardiola and go the other way. But Guardiola on his way prods it back to Stefan Ortega. Clearance is down the left-hand side. Haaland won't get there. Tchouameni will. Clearance from Ruben Diaz. As Rudiger chasing the ball in his own half by himself. To his right for Tchouameni. City players start to press now. Haaland follows the ball to Rudiger. And now Kroos. Silva forces him back to the goalkeeper, Lunin. Haaland now emerging to Lunin's left. Ball goes to his right, down the touchline. Nodded forward by Carvajal. Bellingham sets off in pursuit. Ruben Diaz with a head start, gets it back to Ortega. A couple of steps away from the penalty spot. Left-footed towards the edge of his box. Finds John Stones. Now Ortega tries to spray it to the left-hand side. Ruben Diaz with a good first touch. Towards Kovacic, retreating to the edge of his box. Now Kovacic prods it back to Ruben Diaz. Infield to Rodri. Tries to touch it out of his feet away from Bellingham. Will lift one towards the far side and taken down well by Manuel Akanji on the right-hand side. Trying to skip away from Rodrigo, who's gone down clutching his face. For no apparent reason, as far as I'm concerned, as Akanji will just lay the ball off to Bernardo Silva. Here's Ruben Diaz. And Rodri finds Guardiola. Back to Rodri, 35 yards from goal. Bernardo Silva, right-hand side of the penalty area. Just tiptoeing his way into it. Phil Foden. Shot from deep, over the top of Lunin, almost into the far post. Real Madrid are in sense pointing to Rodrigo, saying the game should have been stopped. Francois Le Texier didn't notice the Brazilian clutching his face. We'll have a little look at the replay. I'm not sure there's any... As Rodrigo tries to press Akanji, he's just leaning away to his left, and Rodrigo does rather headbutt his elbow. And I don't think there's any intent there from Manuel Akanji. It's entirely accidental. And the referee, Francois Le Texier, just allows play to continue as it develops downfield. Absolutely no problem with the challenge from Manuel Akanji. There was earlier as Rodrigo beat him to put Real Madrid 2-1 in front. It's been a rip-roaring first half. Half-time rapidly approaching. 5 minutes away from the break. Of course, at the Emirates as well, in North London, Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich. We've been trying to keep you up to date with the score there. It was Bukayo Saka with a curler, 12 minutes on the clock to open the scoring, which was levelled up 6 minutes later by former Arsenal man Serge Gnabry. And then one that must have stung for Gunner supporters, Harry Kane, from the penalty spots. It was a foul from William Saliba on Leroy Sané, the former Tottenham man. Not a little reason to be hated by the red side of North London as they're back underway. Long ball forward from Lunin up towards the edge of the centre circle. Nodded by Diaz, helped on by Kovacic. Haaland can't handle it. It will flick off his forehead. Back to Lunin, who rolls his foot over the ball a couple of times. And settles his team down. It's now pressed by Kovacic and will collect the Ukrainian from the edge of the penalty spot. Up to his feet, will unleash a long ball downfield out toward the right-hand side. Valverde comes in off the touchline, jumping with Guardiola, who wins the header. Grealish now with Camavinga, who loses out. And it's Guardiola down to Grealish, who will flick it in field with his left boot to try to find Rodri. Neither of these two sides manage to take it down until Camavinga steps in and goes down on the challenge of Kovacic, and the referee lets play go as Guardiola will try and spray one to the right-hand side as Mendy jumps with Foden, and it's dropped here to the halfway line to Akanji, turning away from Rodrigo towards Bernardo Silva. He's been caught in possession. It's prodded forward from Rodrigo. Vinicius Junior left-hand side, running out. John Stones retreating towards his own box. Vinicius Junior unleashes straight down the throat of Stefan Ortega again. Real Madrid doing that time after time now. City back away, and back away a bit some more until Vinicius Junior or Rodrigo decides to pull the trigger. So far, they've not put it into dangerous areas. Stefan Ortega up to the task, but City playing a dangerous game here. Deficit's only one, could be much more. Foden. Back down the touchline to Akanji. Akanji forward into midfield to Rodri. Slightly to his left to find Kovacic. Kovacic to Gvardiol. Into the centre circle now for Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Rodri, who will try and step forward. Vinicius Junior keeping pace. It's a slow pace though. Akanji. Back to Ruben Diaz. Right hand side of the centre circle. Rodri. Back to Ruben Diaz again. Up towards the halfway line. Silva will play it first time to Stefan Ortega. Ortega is going to take his time in possession and then lay that into the feet of Kovacic. Back to the right-hand corner of the penalty area for Ruben Diaz. And back to Ortega again. Left-footed long ball out to the right-hand side. Challenging for it, Foden will ease it in field to Haaland. Loose first touch, can't get back on the ball, and Real Madrid have turned over possession. Cross forward to Vinicius Junior, intercepting the pass, which was directed towards Bellingham. Would have been offside if it reached him. It was a good little recovery run from Bernardo Silva. Ortega to Diaz, right-hand side of the Man City defensive third. Akanji back to Diaz and infield to Rodri, trying to step away from Bellingham. Back to the right flank again for Manuel Akanji, into the goalkeeper via Ruben Diaz, who will, and Ortega lifts one out to the right-hand side. Bit of space for Silva, prods it in field. Here's John Stones. No one around him for about 5 or 10 yards. Camavinga will come across to change that. Ball goes to the left-hand side for Gvardiol. Grealish tracking back down the touchline. Looking for the ball to feet. It's prodded 5 yards forward to Gvardiol. Steps away from Carvajal. Laid in field to Rodri. 35 yards from goal, Rodri. Stepping forward, drifting away from Real Madrid midfielders, but Kroos will lunge in and prod it away from Rodri, and Rodrigo flicks down the left-hand side. Good challenge from Akanji, plays it against Rodrigo. That will be a throw into Manchester City just inside the Real Madrid half. 1 minute left until the end of the 45. Probably time, of course, added on. It's too easy to play against at the moment here, Manchester City. Changes on the bench available for Pep Guardiola. What can change City's fortunes? Alvarez potentially, Kevin De Bruyne not feeling at his best, but can he come on and add some magic? Oscar Bob, Jeremy Doku too. Now in possession here in the Real Madrid half. It's John Stones, just shrugged off the ball by Valverde was Kovacic, and Ludin's clearance his first time. Loops awkwardly off Akanji, but helping out was John Stones. That's not come off the hand, says the referee, despite the appeals from the Real Madrid faithful. Here's Phil Foden, 3 minutes added on the end of the 45. Rodri lifted across to the left-hand side for Jack Grealish, who will try and dart his way infield. Carvajal stays with it. Grealish can't shrug off the Spaniard. It's down the left-hand side though for Rodri, who lifts one towards the back post. Haaland's there arriving over the top of Rudiger. Referee spots him climbing all over the back of the German, and that will be a free kick. It's looked out of sorts this evening, Erling Haaland. And Antonio Rudiger reminds him that he hasn't had the best of evenings. Hands on top of the head of Antonio Rudiger. Easily spotted as well by Francois Letes.